Hi everyone! In this, the second of the two-part video series, we will continue to discuss the value of project portfolio management. Again, as I mentioned it earlier, it is important because it will help you to understand the benefits that project portfolio management will bring to your organization. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone! Welcome to another edition of Think Tank Consulting video blog. My name is Jamal and I'm the President and Principal Consultant at Think Tank Consulting. Today we're continuing with our new video series called What is the Value of Project Portfolio Management? So in the previous segment of this video series, we talked about the value of project portfolio management, and I shared with you the research that was done by Robert Cooper, and I shared with you some of the statistical analysis, results of the statistical analysis that shows the impact of project portfolio management on the stock performance of the companies. So in this particular segment, I want to talk about what happens without project portfolio management. And hopefully as I go through these examples, you may or may not recognize either your own current company you're working for or maybe some previous organizations you worked at. So what happens without project portfolio management? Immediate result is there is reluctance to kill weak project proposals. Projects are being selected based on politics or emotions or whoever screams the loudest. You lack strategic criteria in the project selection, right? Because someone comes in with a pile of project proposals, they all get accepted and they go through. Short-term result, and this is where interesting things start to happen. You end up with, guess what? Too many projects. You don't have enough resources to handle all of the projects. Sounds familiar? I think so. Your resources are thinly spread. Rather than concentrating on one or two projects, your resources concentrate on, or not concentrate on, 5 or 6 or 7 of them. Short-term quality suffers. Why? Because if you need a resource to be dedicated to the project, say about 10 man-month of his time, he can spend only 5. Long-term effects, increased time to market for 2 reasons. Why? Reason 1 is because, again, your resources are thinly spread. Reason 2 is because having too many projects and not enough resources working on them increases the time to delivery. Higher failure rates, again, 2 root causes for that. On one hand, because you have not selected the best projects for your company, many of the products and services that you deliver turn out to be not very successful. Number 2, even those that turned out to be a good idea, because they lack the resources, financial and human, they suffer from quality, hence the failure. Let me show you one example. I built it on a 1-year time scale. Just a word of warning, at some companies it can take 1 year, at some companies it can take 3 years or 5 years. But with the markets getting more and more dynamic in the recent times, I still have a feeling that this time scale is correct. It's going to be very close to 1 year rather than 5-year time period. So let me set this up for you. You have your year divided into quarters. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Each quarter is divided into 3 months. At the beginning of the year, your company executives say, and this is, by the way, a real life example of when I was working at a very large international bank, specifically at an IT department. So here's what would happen. The head of the IT department will go to the business people and say something to the effect of, last year we did 50 projects. This year, in order to exceed expectations, we will do 60 projects. Sounds familiar? Well, that's the case at many companies. By the way, in making that claim, we will do 60 projects, he never even bothered to go back and check whether the previous 50 projects were on time, on budget, and delivered successfully. Clearly, the resources that he had at his department were not sufficient to deliver 50 projects, let alone 60 projects. So what would happen? January, February, March would go by and some work would be done. At the end of March, they will go back to business and report everything is on track, everything is fine. Well, in reality, it isn't, or it wasn't. The business will say something to the effect of, well, you're doing so well with 60 projects, here's another 60 projects for you to do. Interesting thing will start happening in April, or first month of Q2. We would would discover that we have to spend 1 month, i.e. month of April, addressing the issues that were caused by lack of resources in the first quarter, which left us with only 2 months to deliver the same 60 projects. Well, I should say probably different 60 projects. How well do you think that worked? Not really well. What would happen at end of quarter 2? IT people would go back to business and say everything is on track, everything is fine. First 2 months of Q3, we would have to spend addressing the issues from Q1 and Q2, which left us with only 1 month to do yet another 60 projects that were given to us at the beginning of Q3. Which by the time we arrived to Q4, forced us to work the entire Q4 addressing the issues from Q1, Q2 and Q3. Have you ever heard a very popular term nowadays called technical debt? Well, technical debt is exactly that. We screwed up on the projects from the previous quarters, and now we have to spend, in the subsequent quarter, we have to spend a lot of time fixing the mistakes we made in the previous quarter. Again, as I said, sometimes it takes longer time, sometimes it takes shorter time. Examples I've seen varied between 1 year and 2 years. So by the end of the entire life cycle, you would discover that you have no resources or time to work on the new projects because you have to go and address the issues that reared their ugly heads from the previous quarters. In the next series, we will talk about developing the scoring matrix, something that I shared with you in the previous video series, the examples. Now we'll talk how to develop them. So this was the second episode of our What is the Value of Project Portfolio Management series. Please share and like this video, leave a comment, visit our company blog at thinktankconsulting.ca, follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to our RSS feed and YouTube video channel. You can find all of the relevant links in the description section below. Thank you very much for watching. This has been yet another edition of Think Tank Consulting video blog.